teach kids and I teach adults. I go all over the place to basically teach people about plants and animals. Last night was one of our biggest nights of the year. We do Halloween, well, they're non-scary nature skits out in the forest preserves. We take groups of people out. We had 350 people out there last night. Tonight is the same thing, another 350. So that's why it's kind of crazy. If you guys go walking on the trails, you're going to see some really wild crops and stuff. Now, Sean, you wanted me to talk about basically how we use, in the forest preserve, how we use fire as a management tool. Okay? A little different than what Rick is going to talk to you about. They're pretty much involved with putting them out. Our crew started them. And I want to back way up. Now, I don't do this, but my coworkers do this. But what I can tell you is when we do prescribed burns or controlled burns in the forest preserves, burning or fires have been going on in Lake County, the Chicago area, and other areas I'll show you in a minute, for thousands of years. After the glaciers receded and they melted away, and the fields and the forests and the marshes and wetlands formed, you'd have lightning strikes, even before the glaciers, but you'd have lightning strikes. And then Native Americans also started fire too. So the fires were just a natural part of the natural communities. But what's interesting is there's some states in the United States that had prairies in them. And prairies they sort of look like that. That's not a prairie, that's an old field. But prairies really have a close tie with fire. And I'm going to tell you why in a little bit. But prairies are big open fields with grasses and wildflowers and some trees, not very many. If there are some big trees that get established in the prairies, then it's a savanna. So some of the big oak trees, hickory trees, those are the plants, along with the wildflowers and grasses, that were part of the prairies. Where are you guys from?
Arlington Heights.
Okay, so out there was all prairie and oak savanna originally. Pre-settlement, before a lot of our ancestors got here and plowed everything up, cut all the forest down, and completely changed everything, it looked like that, okay? For miles and miles and miles. So there's very, very few prairie left, and prairies are really diverse. There's lots of plants and animals that live in them, and these were the original prairie states, going right down the middle of the United States. Here's us, here's Wisconsin, where I'm from, just a little part of that part of Wisconsin, into Indiana. And these areas here don't get as much rain as these parts of the country. And for the most part, rain forms out here in the Pacific, moves into the United States, drenches these areas. Storms keep moving because they move in a westerly direction. They come right across the field here. There's one down there, I can see it. It's heading towards where I live, down in Evanston. I can always tell. But when the storms would hit the mountains, Rocky Mountains, they stop. They don't go up and over and continue. So because of that, now you have to imagine for thousands of years, those areas, the prairie states, never got a lot of rain. And that allowed prairies to get established, because prairies are wildflowers and grasses with their growing part under the ground, which is insulated by fire. Okay? So you've got to imagine, guys, summer after summer, fires just roaring through these states, roaring through Illinois. Your neighborhood, before there were houses and roads and lots of people, is burning right across there. And the native plants, grasses, wildflowers, trees, shrubs, the native ones, the ones that have always been here, they don't care. Fire doesn't bother them one bit. They know how to deal with fire. But there are some plants now in the United States and in Illinois and in Lake County, and I got two of them here, that we have to control with fire, and that's why we do prescribed burns. One of the reasons. Why our crews go out, and what they do is they light fires with, did you bring a drip torch?
Yes.
Okay, they light fires with drip torches.